This is news on Good News Catholic Communications. I am Betty and Lazarus. In the headlines, Bishop across the region to engage in annual plenary meeting. Youth Emergency Action Committee wraps up its Train the Trainers program. The Diocese of St. George's in Grenada readies itself for a full return of the annual Marian devotions. Details when we return.
Stand before you,
Holy Spirit,
as we gather together in your name,
with you alone
to guide us. Make yourself at home in our hearts. Teach us the way we must go and how we are to pursue it.
We are weak and sinful.
Do not let us promote disorder.
Do not let ignorance lead us down the wrong path.
Nor partiality influence our actions.
Let us find in you our unity,
so that we may journey together to eternal life,
and not stray from what is truth and what is right.
All this we ask of you, who are at work in every place and time.
In communion of the Father and the Son,
forever and ever.
Amen.
Welcome back. The 2022 AEC Annual Plenary Meeting is scheduled for the upcoming week from Sunday, May 1st to Friday, May 6th, engaging bishops across the region. The first 2 days of the week will be spent in a retreat and reflection format. Father Peter McIsaac will spearhead the first 2 days, following which the grouping will move into the business of the church. Bishop Clyde Martin Harvey gave a synopsis of the upcoming meeting, facilitated via Zoom.
The plenary meeting is about bringing together the business of the church in the Caribbean and looking at various aspects of it. We will receive an initial report on the synod when we have an encounter with a number of people representing the synod groups in the various dioceses. That's a main focus. We also take time to look at various trends in the region. We hope to look again at the Caribbean Conference of Churches to see whether we as Catholic bishops can do anything to push that forward again, because there is a need for a regional group church-wise, but how to do it is a big question.
Catholic faithfuls are called upon to remember our bishops in prayer as they spend the upcoming week in retreat, reflection, and charting the way forward regarding the business of the church. Moving on now, participants were on Thursday presented with certificates marking the completion of a 1.5-week Community Emergency Response Team Train the Trainers exercise. The program was conducted with support from Sandals Foundation, geared at strengthening precise response mitigation strategies in communities across Grenada. Chief Facilitator Jason Lyons admonished participants to go out and carry their candles within the communities.
As cert trainers, cert instructors, I want to charge you with a mission. The mission is to go forth and help build resilience in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and Dominica. Go out into your community, build up cert teams, identify them, teach them, show them the ropes, train them. Yes, put them through the crucible that you went through yesterday, or even a tougher one, so that they understand the rigors of emergency response and they're able to respond appropriately, skillfully, and knowledgeably, most importantly.
Lyons also reminded stakeholders that their support continues to be key in sustaining programs like these.
Your mission, if I may give you, is to continue to support the development of this amazing initiative. One of the first slides we speak to in this training is the number of people that are saved by community response teams versus the higher level response mechanism. It is well noted around the world that the numbers outweigh 10 to 1, the numbers of people that the community save versus the number of people that the professional response mechanism save. Simply because they are on scene to assist people in need immediately. And then the higher trapped people, the more severely trapped people, we need that more higher level skill set to attend to them. So there is a place for everyone in making sure that the country, the region, the countries, is more resilient and safe.
Sandals Foundation, who is celebrating 40 years of establishment in the region and who this week marked 7 years of its operations in Grenada, pledges its further commitment to ensure that this current batch of trainers remain motivated to take the skills across the tourism sector. Sandals Grenada marketing representative Dillian Forrester spoke to the resort's commitment in establishing community links.
As small islands, as small Caribbean states, we are susceptible to many of the impacts of climate change and, of course, naturally, from human disasters, hazards. And so this training, this marks the beginning, or the continuation of the partnership with the Sandals Foundation and our impact that we want to have within the community. We hope that you are indeed empowered after your 2 weeks of training here, and that you will go out and continue that training. Specifically outlined in our agreement with YEAC is to provide this training to small service providers within the tourism industry here in Grenada, and we look forward to your partnership in making that happen.
Forrester commended the range of skills participants were exposed to and reminded trainers of the key role they are expected to play in driving the national process forward.
It's a thorough program. You've covered all risks, all hazards, and so we are excited to see what you can do and what you will do to share that knowledge and empower Grenada. As we go into the hurricane season, what you learned is absolutely relevant, and we hope to see you on resort too. We will be inviting you on resort to do a session or two with the team members here at Sandals Grenada. So again, congratulations. We look forward to the outcome and the continuation of education within the community, and Sandals Foundation is proud to partner with the YEAC and with you to further empower Grenada. So again, congratulations and thank you.
Officer in charge of the Training Division of the Royal Grenada Police Force, Anthony George, reassured the YAC coordinators of the RGPF continued support in building stronger community-based response strategies.
I'm pleased to have seen that a little exercise earlier on whereby you took the initiative to immediately take the responsibility of forming a lead group that would deepen this process going forward. As we look at charting the way forward, coming out of this training and previous training that were held, to take it to a higher level and to ensure that at the national level, we are much better able to respond to the situations that confront us.
Participants were engaged in intensive skills response drill during the week-and-a-half exercise. Woman Constable Tara Frederick reflected on the impact of the training.
The teaching techniques displayed were impressive and unique to each instructor. I will surely mimic some of the techniques and styles that was used to present to us in the near future. The activities aspects of the training stood out the most to me because it was very realistic, finding out how challenging it can become, a rescue operation can become, but the end result was always give you a rewarding feeling of excitement and fulfillment, being able to rescue or help the survivors. Remember to act within the scope of your limitations and safety.
During Thursday's closing ceremony, coordinator of Caritas Grenada, Francis Darius, expressed Caritas' appreciation for the dedicated support from Sandals.
For the willingness and readiness to partner with us to bring this particular activity into reality. It suggests to us the open-eyed appreciation of needs in our communities, but more so, acceptance of the capacity to assist and address those identified needs. I say this in no small way because it is easy to identify the needs and or deficiencies, but I can tell you it is another thing when it comes to getting hands on deck to actually support, address, or effect the solutions. I want to say a special thanks this morning to Sandals Foundation, Grenada, and I want you to give them a rousing applause.
Darius spoke of Caritas' mission in strengthening community-based response programs.
Caritas Grenada, for those who know, is a social arm of the Catholic Church, and we have been over the last 20 years or so in Grenada trying to bring that knowledge, that consciousness among our population to be aware that we are living in a hot zone when it comes to hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes. And as a people, we must be prepared to deal with this thing. And so we have kind of etched out a portion for ourselves dealing with young persons within our communities and have been equipping them with the knowledge to be able to go back and sensitize and train the communities to be just prepared. So we have done training in first aid and CERT, and we have also completed community disaster plans with specific entities within our communities, also our homes. So make it everyday buzzword of our environment.
Also attending and facilitating at the closing ceremony, Corporal Chad Halley, attached to the Grenville Fire Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, reflected on how both facilitators and participants benefited in more ways than one from the exposure, sentiment shared by Yak Dominica representative.
Now during this training we were able to network. We realized persons from different backgrounds. And also we have Jason coming from the United States. In that way, it was just more than a training. We were able to connect as people. And in so doing, in so saying, the goal of CERT is to do what? To do the greatest, the greatest number. You know, and that speaks volume. Persons from different backgrounds. Another thing that really stood out to me is the aspect of the psychosocial aspect. You know, I've never been exposed to that. Realizing to be able to relate to persons from different background, cultural, political, or spiritual, being able to respond and to comfort them, and being able to give a sense of comfort. You know, so this training was very relevant, and I just want us to, for the participants, that this is just the beginning, and we hope that we can take this to another level.
Thank you for inviting YAC Dominica to Grenada to be part of this wonderful occasion. I'll take this training back home to share my knowledge and help train the members for CERT within the communities. Once again, a heartfelt thanks to all of you who helped make this journey a comfortable and possible one for me. Thank you.
Stay with us. When we return, the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada anticipates a return to norm regarding Marian devotions. Welcome back. First up in this segment, Bishop of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada is calling on parents to allow children preparing for the CPA exams scheduled for the 12th and 13th of May to be themselves to the best of their ability and preparation. Bishop Harvey admonished parents to pray, to encourage and support, but to refrain from unloading too much of their own expectations on the shoulders of their children.
Folks, keep it cool. Parents, don't allow your own frustration and anxiety to intrude onto your children's psyche. Give them the quiet confidence that they need and the support. And I can't urge you strongly enough that when the child has studied well into the afternoon and so on, just before they go to bed, just give them a little blessing. Put your hand on their head and say a prayer for them. And give them a great big hug and tell them sleep well. If you can tuck them into bed, all the better. Although I know for some people that's not possible. But take care of your children and bring them to the exam in 2 weeks' time with a certain peace and calm.
Bishop Harvey is also appealing to the school fraternity, especially parents, to remember that the risk of COVID-19 is still with us.
I'm hearing from various sources, Trinidad, Jamaica, Guyana, that the reopening of schools has led to real problems with the number of children coming down with COVID, and as being a major source of concern. I was trying to find out what's the situation here, but I haven't heard anything as yet. I hope we can find out from our Catholic schools exactly what's happening there. But please, it's important that children going to school take a mask with them, because all it takes is one child in a class to have COVID for the whole thing to get messed up, right? And I've heard of doctors who have been vaccinated coming down with COVID again, So this thing hasn't left us as yet. So one of the principal things that we must insist on in our Catholic schools is that anybody who has any sign of the flu or anything like that, stay home. Even if the child is in a CPA class, if they show any symptoms at all, make sure that it's not COVID. Do the rapid test before you push them onto school, because it would be horrible. And by the way, I hope the ministry is making some arrangements in that regard. If we had classes in schools which came down with COVID because of the carelessness of one parent or child, I think that would be tragic.
We join our bishop in commending to God all students in Grenada and those across the region who are yet to sit exit exams. The first in the annual Marian devotion is scheduled for the third Sunday of May, May 15th. Bishop Clyde Harvey, in his program Conversation with the Bishop, says he is anticipating and encouraging parishioners to turn out in their numbers.
And I want to make a great appeal to all, and especially to your parish priest, to encourage you all to come out. We have not had a grand occasion at Battle Hill for 2 years. Let's make this a fantastic occasion. And I will be presiding myself at the opening Mass and preaching the sermon before the Mass on the theme, Mary, Woman of Synod. Because if the Church is in Synod, we have to understand that Mary is at the center of that. Because her whole attitude, the way in which the stories that are told of her in the Gospels speak to us of what is necessary for the Synod to succeed.
So there you have it, annual Marian devotion to commence on May 15th. Organize your buses and bring the children along. A recap of the headlines when we return.
Committed Catholics, listen to us.
Youths like us must be given a hearing.
I am a farmer and I have a story to tell.
I'm a farmer and I too would like to share my story.
Even though we walk over there Sunday to Sunday, we too have a story to tell.
I am a Catholic sometimes and I have things to say. I need someone to listen. I have a lot to say on behalf of single parents.
The Catholic Diocese of St. George's in Grenada has begun the synod process. Pope Francis has involved the Universal Church. Your voice is important. Come, share your story, your experience, and your expectations of church.
Welcome back, and now for a recap of the headlines. Bishops across the region to engage in annual plenary meeting this coming week. Youth Emergency Action Committee wraps up its Train the Trainers program. The Diocese of St. George's in Grenada readies itself for a full return of the annual Marian devotion. On behalf of all those who made this newscast possible, I'm Betty and Lazarus. Thanks for staying with us.